So I just want to start this off by saying that I don't identify as being like a hot girl. And when I say that, I'm not putting myself down. I just mean like I didn't move to LA to model, you know? I moved to LA for normal reasons. To be one of those short extras that they need for Tom Cruise movies. Crowd goes wild! Hello YouTube, my name is Dana Donnelly and I'm here to beg you to like this video and subscribe to my channel because I am running out of money and I have no other skills, and the only job on this whole planet that I'm qualified for is to be an extremely famous A-list celebrity, and I wish that wasn't true, but it is. Last year I applied to work at Brandy Melville, and I also applied to be a Walmart trucker, and I wasn't hired at Brandy Melville because I was too ugly, and I wasn't hired to be a Walmart trucker because I was too pretty, and also I'm only 4'11", so they were worried my feet couldn't reach the pedals. Anyway, what I'm saying is, from the bottom of my heart, if you're watching this video, I need you to help make me famous. I'm a freaking stand-up comedian, okay? And I haven't done stand-up comedy in almost 2 years now, and I have my first set tomorrow evening, and so I wanted to run through all of my stand-up jokes. Basically, I have to do 10 minutes. I have some new stuff I want to do. This is so boring. The way I write my set list is just little keywords, so let's try to remember what the jokes are from the keywords. Oh my God, I searched set list in my phone notes, and of course, an essay that I wrote to my ex from 2018 came up. Today's actually been great for me. An Instagram model that I follow posted a picture of her baby, and it is ugly. Finally, some good news for once. I tweeted about it, and this Instagram model that I follow recently had a baby, saw it, and blocked me, which is crazy because it actually wasn't about her, but what an interesting way to find out that she thinks her baby is ugly. Is anyone else here an ugly sibling? You're all the hot ones. They love it when I do that. I actually am an ugly sibling. I have a sister. She's prettier than me. I hate saying that, but it's true. My mom really thinks my sister's prettier than me though. To my mom, my sister is Gigi Hadid and I'm like George Lopez, but short. My mom actually told me recently, she said, Dana, you're not going to believe this, but my friend Sally told me that she thinks that you are prettier than your sister. And on one hand, I was like, fuck you, Mom. I don't need validation from a stranger. But on the other hand, tears of joy did flow out of the ski mask I wear every day to cover my face. I once dated a guy who would ask me when my 17-year-old sister turned 18 every single time we would hang out. Horrible. Obviously, I broke up with him. That guy was clearly really bad at remembering birthdays. I didn't want him to forget mine. I used to be a really bad girlfriend. I first realized that I was a bad girlfriend when I was still dating my ex, and he started going to therapy, and my first thought was like, fuck. That therapist is definitely going to tell him to break up with me. But then his therapist didn't tell him to break up with me, and I was like, that's a bad therapist. What are their credentials? I actually am in a relationship right now. I think it's going pretty well. I would never go through his phone because he has an Android and I don't know how to use those. Are you guys familiar with attachment theory, with attachment styles? Miss, what's your attachment style? Oh, you're anxious? I used to also have an anxious attachment style. For those of you who are unfamiliar, that's where you're worried that the person you're dating doesn't actually like you. How did I get over it? I started dating someone who actually liked me. Yeah. Turns out all those other times, I was right to be anxious. Big news for me, I recently got paid by a swimwear company for posting a swimsuit photo on Instagram. Thank you. All I had to do was take it down. Embarrassing to admit, but I've dated a lot of white guys because they need me. But I've noticed that some white guys are so afraid of seeming racist that when I ask them if I'm their first girlfriend that's not white, they will totally avoid answering the question by reminding me that I'm not their girlfriend. They're like, yo, we haven't really labeled it like that, Ling Ling. New rule, if you are a white guy with a beard, I am allowed to call you Josh, Sam, David, Kyle, or Matt, and you are not allowed to correct me. All of those names are synonyms for white guy with beard. It's like soda and pop. I go to the Midwest, I say, can I get a soda? They go, do you mean pop? You know what I mean. If I call you Josh, don't you dare go, my name's actually Kyle. You know what I mean. The problem with the world today, Gen Z and millennial men have all the toxic masculinity of boomer men, but none of the practical life skills. They're still punching holes in drywall, but now they don't even know how to fix it. So are you saying they need to go to therapy? No, I'm saying that they need to learn about the power of the Home Depot. Seriously, I have not met a man in LA who knows about Home Depot. None of them even know what WD-40 is. I know what WD-40 is because it's what restaurant employees use to grease me out of high chairs that I get stuck in. I always think I'll fit. I have body dysmorphia, not the kind where I think I'm fatter than I am, the kind where on not one but two occasions a Goodwill employee has had to cut me out of a shirt intended for an 18-month-old baby that I thought I could wear as a crop top. People give me shit for talking about my ex too much, which feels really unfair to me because it's like, why should I have to stop talking about my ex, a relationship that ended like less than 5 years ago, when Hollywood is still making movies about World War II, a war that ended like 20 years ago. One of my friends was telling me that the guy that she's dating has a picture of her on his nightstand. That's crazy, right? Like, goals. Like, I would love to date a guy who has a nightstand. Kind of hack, but that can be good. I may not be like traditionally hot, but I actually am a Los Angeles 10 because I look 10 years old and everyone here is a pedophile. Something I'll never understand is that guys hate when you talk to them about another guy, but they love when you talk to them about sports, which is just like a bunch of other guys that are all taller and hotter and richer than them. It's like if I tell my fiance, like, oh, this guy is really cool. He's like, why don't you go get engaged to him then? But if I tell my fiance, like, oh, I think these, how many people are on a football team? 53. But if I tell my fiance, oh, I think these 53 guys are really cool, he's like, I agree. Let's go watch them play together. I'm messy, like really, really messy, like super psychotically, like so messy. Like I'm so messy that one time I brought a guy back to my apartment and he was so visibly horrified. I had to pretend I was robbed. He was like, oh my God, should we call the police? And I was like, you know what? Fuck cops. And he thought that was really cool. I once convinced my 44-year-old therapist to confront her husband about not liking her post on Instagram. I left the session feeling very empowered by the realization that while she can't make me better, I can make both of us worse. I have a friend who's always talking about how she thinks it's really irresponsible to have kids these days because, quote, the world is ending. And it's like, I personally think it's irresponsible to go into the end of the world without my own personal army of child soldiers that I've trained to hunt and forage for my food. Like, good luck hacking it out in the apocalypse as a childless loner who nobody cares about. Hot take, you should be allowed to bring big liquids in your airport carry-on as long as you can prove you got below a C in high school chemistry. You think I'm gonna build a bomb? My 10th grade teacher doesn't. Let me bring my full-size toothpaste. I always thought I didn't have a type, but I realized this morning that I do have a type, and my type is guys who look good for their age, but bad, like, in general. Like, the kind of guy that I'd show a picture of to my friend, and she'd be like, ugh. But I'd be like, no, but he's 70. And she'd be like, well, I guess he does have a lot of hair for 70. One thing about me, I'm going to chug 7 glasses of cold brew, eat 2 garden gummies, then do something innocuous like eat a bag of chips, and be like, wow, I feel weird. I must be allergic to chips. I'm gonna do that. That's good. This morning, I ran into this guy that I used to hook up with, and I couldn't remember his name, but I did remember his dog's name. So I was like, oh, hi, Biscuit's dad. And he was like, wow, you even remembered my dog's name. And it's like, it's not that I liked you so much I even remembered your dog. It's that I liked your dog so much I kind of remembered you. Anyway, he did not remember my name at all. How do I know I'm not my mom's favorite child? Because the password to the family Netflix account is my sister's name and birthday. And I mentioned that to my mom, and she was like, well, I would have made it your name and birthday, but I couldn't remember your birthday. Being a high-functioning crazy person is so weird because, like, one minute I'll be on the floor literally crying, screaming, and writhing around, and the next minute I'll be answering an email like, hi, attached is the signed PDF. Hope you had a good weekend. That's a good one. I'm going to do that probably. I want to go to rehab for phone addiction, but I can't because they won't let me garden in there. And I want to go to rehab for garden addiction, but I can't because they won't let me use my phone in there. It's like no one wants me to get better. Gardening is S-ing W, if you know what I mean. Okay, this is my impression of every 5'9" white guy with brown hair and no vibe. What do you mean you don't remember me? It's me, John, with the jeans. I love golf. I work in marketing. You seriously don't remember me? I never remember them. I am engaged now, brag. But when I was a, lonely spinster dating in my 20s, I lived by this one rule. And it was, before you text that guy that paragraph, picture yourself 17 hours from now. You're still undelivered. Are you going to be zen about it? Like, he'll reply when he replies. What's meant to be will be. Or are you Google Mapsing your nearest local bridge and preparing to jump off? Which one is it? And do you want to text the paragraph? My whole life, I was convinced I only needed 6 hours of sleep. But recently, I started getting 8 to 9, only to come to the devastating realization that my default personality is not, in fact, irritable psycho bitch. I've just been sleep deprived this entire time. I saw a TikTok recently that said waking up early will solve all of your problems. And it's like, really? All of my problems? What about the problem of I'm freaking tired? I'm thinking of starting a service where I, a wise old 29-year-old, help naive young 23-year-olds figure out if their boyfriend is a loser or not before they waste their entire 20s dating him. I imagine the service will mostly just be me saying, I don't think being kind of able to play the guitar is as important as you think it is. Pretty good one. And then I probably would tag that with my other joke about how, like, if there's one thing I've learned from dating in your 20s, it's that if a guy is good at guitar, he's cheating on you. And if a guy is bad at guitar, don't worry, he's just trying to. How am I so good at handling rejection? Because I know that rejection is just God's protection. Some things I've been protected from: 12 colleges, 67 guys, and every cool exclusive bar and nightclub across 14 different countries. A lot of girls might cry when a bouncer looks them up and down and says, not tonight, little chunky, but not me. I get down on my hands and knees and I say, hallelujah, glory be to God. Everyone I know loves to accuse me of always looking at my phone, which feels really unfair to me because it's like, that's just not true. I'm not always looking at my phone. Like, when my fiance goes to the bathroom, I'm looking at his. Just kidding. Like I said earlier, he has an Android. I don't know how to use those. I'm kind of a loner. I stay home most Friday and Saturday nights, and people are always like, oh, like, don't you have FOMO? And it's like, yes, but not as much as other people have FOMSU. Fear of me showing up. I'm growing out my hair right now because I don't know if you know this, but guys actually hate short hair. Guys love to be like, yeah, babe, I love your bob. It looks so good. Then the second your hair starts to grow out, they're like, please never cut a bob again. They all just want a Rapunzel-ass bitch at the end of the day. My tip for staying alive as a chronically depressed person: ABOTO, baby. Always be ordering things online. You can't end it all if you're never not 5 days away from getting something cute in the mail. Public enemy number one: older guys who see you out with your mom and hit you with you two must be sisters. It's like, sir, you may have just made a friend of my mother, but you have made an enemy of me. You have deeply flattered one of us and deeply offended the other. Count your frickin' days, buddy. It's all fun and games telling a mentally ill person to get a journal until one day you catch an accidental glimpse of their writing and come to the devastating realization that you have inadvertently commissioned the penning of a very scary manifesto that no doubt will end up on the 5 o'clock news in the future. It's me, I'm the mentally ill person. My mom, she's the one who had the fun and games, then caught an accidental glimpse and came to the devastating realization. And that is why my 4th grade diary got confiscated. Nothing like going through airport security and having TSA realize in real time that the contents of your purse is 98% trash. When I was in college, I had a therapist recommend that I cut my parents out because they seemed really toxic. And I was like, okay, but they support me financially, so then I wouldn't be able to pay for therapy. And she was like, oh, never mind. Actually, recently, I told my therapist I was stopping therapy, and she was like, oh, why? And I was like, well, we determined last week that a lot of my stress was coming from financial insecurity, so I figured a good way to solve that would be to stop spending $300 a week on therapy. And she was like, wait, I thought your mom paid for our sessions. And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm not telling her. I'm stopping. Boom, baby, money up. When you're a woman online, people say all kinds of things about your body, but people sometimes will tell me, like, to go on a diet. And I love my body, but also I'm just like, why would I ever go on a diet when I could simply have faith that a debilitating, depressive episode could be right around the corner waiting to kill my appetite all on its own? I'm an optimist like that. Not to brag, but I actually am very precocious. I was actually the first person in my friend group to develop a debilitating, life-threatening eating disorder. I got my eating disorder so young, I know how many calories are in Play-Doh. Fellow 3-year-old would come up to me on the playground and try to put some of that salty blue in my mouth, and I'd be like, no thanks, I actually already ate at home. Hot take: people who meditate are really just napping. Every morning when I wake up, I meditate for 15 minutes instead of looking at my phone. Yeah, I do that too. It's called snoozing my alarm and going back to sleep. Cut the shit. If you never get hit on, it's probably because you have really strong energetic boundaries. That's why I never get hit on, because of my strong energetic boundaries. Or at least That's what I tell myself. I don't trust anyone who doesn't have periodic mental breakdowns, because every time you break down, you're forced to rebuild, which is a lot like what? Updating your software. People who never break down never update their software. They're like, I'm so sane and stable. And it's like, no, bitch, you're just still operating on iOS 1. And that shit is slow and laggy. People are always telling me that I seem really confident, and I'm always like, thank you. I actually fluctuate between having extreme delusions of grandeur and self-esteem so low. All I can do is brainstorm the riddles I'm going to give to passersby when I assume my inevitable lifelong destined position as a bridge troll. So I'm glad you caught me in a moment of the former. I operate in extremes. Yes, I'm wearing sweatpants. Jerry Seinfeld once said that wearing sweatpants out in the world is sending the message that you give up. But clearly Jerry never heard of the vintage low-rise Y2K Juicy Couture kind, because does it look like I've given up? I don't freaking think so, Jerry. And I'm going to spank myself in the Juicy Couture track pants I'll wear on stage. I'll probably wear Juicy Couture track pants on stage tomorrow. People love to be like, you're unstable. You're always acting crazy. Which one is it? Am I unstable or am I always acting crazy? Because always acting crazy implies a consistent pattern of behavior, which is in fact stability. Yeah, owned you with my stably crazy ass. I'm turning 30 this year, and when I tell people that, they're like, oh, that sucks. And I'm like, no, I'm actually really excited. And they're like, ew, why? And I'm like, 5 words, senior discount at Brandy Melville. I'm a feminist, but there is one thing that men can do that women can't, and it is ignore the smell of moldy towel. They're like so much better at that. Every healthy relationship has one insane conspiracy theorist and one matrix handler. This morning I told my fiance I think the LA fires were an inside job, and he said, girl, you need to get a job. And that is the kind of energy that I need to keep me out of the asylum. I'm pretty sure my dad cheated on my mom. She never said that he did, but one time when I was 8, she did ask me, Dana, what would you do if your husband cheated on you? And I said, I would divorce him. And she said, you don't understand. Marriages are really complicated. What if one of you hasn't worked in 8 years because you were staying home with the children? The difference between men and women's eating disorders is women know to be ashamed of theirs. Meanwhile, my uncle was walking around Christmas dinner telling everyone who would listen about the fact that he'd only been eating bison meat and eggs every day for the past year. And he felt amazing, except for the fact that he was really cold, and could we please hide the pie from him because he didn't trust himself around it. I love being 29. Every 25-year-old deeply pities me for how geriatric I am, and every 35-year-old wants to murder me and wear my youthful skin as a suit. Sympathy and envy. I really do have it all. If there's one thing I've learned from dating in my 20s, it's that someone can be gaslighting you and you can also actually be crazy. The two are not mutually exclusive. Like, yes, that man is probably lying to you, but also you might have untreated bipolar disorder. I hear people say this a lot, that they're worried people are mad at them. And it's like, I'm not, because I know that they are. Because I stay doing fuck shit. People are always like, oh, straight men can't be friends with women because they're always trying to F them. Straight men can't be friends with girls without trying to F them. And it's like, as far as I can tell, straight guys can't be friends with guys without trying to F them. Maybe straight guys just can't be friends. Maybe friends aren't for heterosexual men. Maybe they should all be locked in individual jail cells till we figure out a better solution. What's it like having a little sister? Let's put it this way. What's mine is hers, and what's hers is also hers, and she will literally murder me if I dare assume otherwise. My whole life, people have been telling me that no one likes to know it all. They're like, Dana, no one likes to know it all. And I'm like, okay, so you admit it. I know it all. If you're a type B girl, you need to date a guy with a type B mom, because guys with type A moms will expect you to cook fancy shit and clean up after them, and guys with type B moms will think you're Martha Stewart if you can cook box mac and cheese, and they'll clean up after you. I love introducing people to my mom. Like, this is my mom. She taught me everything I know about body dysmorphia. When a skinny person picks a fight with me, I don't engage. Like, girl, you're not mad at me. You're just hungry. We don't have beef. You just need to eat some. Anyways, yes, this is a subtweet at my almond mom. I don't weigh myself. Why don't I weigh myself? Because I'm a human freaking being, not an overstuffed suitcase about to get upcharged by an airline or a piece of me getting measured by a YouTube carnivore. I have free will and self-respect, and getting on a scale over my dead body, literally over my dead body. If I ever get weighed again, it will be by the coroner in the morgue, and he better not disclose the number to my mom. I swear to God. Oh, my mom's a bit of a pick-me, and when I was growing up, she'd always comment on how other girls' moms wore too much makeup. Anyway, one time I told one of my friends this. I was like, my mom says your mom wears too much makeup. And this girl, without missing a beat, goes, well, my mom says your mom is ugly. Touche. That clapback alone single-handedly put me off the pick-me life forever. People ask me about my ethnicity a lot, and I'm half Filipino and half Irish, but I would definitely say that the most American thing about me is that I don't know anything about either culture. Hot take, I think bathroom line should go in order of who needs to pee the most, and food line should go in order of who is hungriest. How will we determine who needs to pee the most and who is hungriest? Well, if I'm there, it's me. It's always me. After that, I don't know. You can talk it out amongst yourselves. Unfortunately, a girl's social media is at its best when she's in a weird situationship. The kind of shit you post just to get a text back from a mid-man who hates you. Turns out that's the kind of stuff the internet wants to see. If you guys have any notes, feedback, tags you'd like to suggest, please feel free to do so in the comments. And that is today's Sunday video. On that note, I bid you all adieu. Please, 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 please. Just kidding. I'm literally joking. You can like this video or not. You can subscribe or not. Literally, it doesn't matter. Because God will make me pop off when God will make me pop off. And maybe that won't be till heaven. But God, I hope it's here on earth. I've been Dana. Fare frickin' well.